So I'd like to call the meeting to order. Jerry and Tammy are missing. Stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Flag of the United States of America. Republic for which it stands. We were going to have a special presentation for our state wrestling champ, Griffin Perriott. We will fit that in if he joins us later this evening. First item, to approve the agenda for this evening. Do we have any additions? I don't think so.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0. Next, we have our consent agenda. Do you have any comments on this, Tim? I know there was one personnel update that we were mailed about. But
Yeah, the latest one was Nancy Dubois has sent her official letter of resignation as the Director of Curriculum and Instruction.
Motion to approve the consent agenda?
I make a motion, we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Any other comments?
Nope.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Committee reports. I know policy sent us a lot of things to look at.
Yes, we've been working hard on the policies because we just started the 3-year cycle this school year, so it's kind of getting us back in the cycle for the 3 years of reviewing the policies. And then we had a couple Minnesota School Board Association that had some legislative changes that we were reviewing as well. So, but I think we combined both February and March together is why you're seeing all that.
Okay. Southwest Metro.
Yes, we had our meeting last Tuesday. We had a presentation by one of the programs called Day Treatment. It's a program that is held at the Lydia School Building at this time, which we will probably be selling in the near future, and they'll be moving to the 401 building. But anyway, the Day Treatment program is a program for students who have had chemical issues, and it's a program that gives them school-based support. They can go to school there, but they also get therapy for their addiction as well. So it takes care of both issues, their academics and their drug issues as well. And the students were there, the teachers were there, and very supportive of that program. Very, very good program. There's an interesting thing. We have a photography class that does training of students that want to go into photography. And one of the things that they did this year was allow for some senior photos to be taken for students that could not pay for the senior photos. And it's something that they're going to offer next year as well through this photo class. And we should be probably thinking of any students that might benefit from this opportunity, people that are challenged as far as their economics are concerned, so that they could get a packet of senior photos done by this senior class of students that participate in this photo class. So I thought that was
Is it open to students outside of the?
It's for the students
Co-op?
of only co-op,
the co-op,
students, right. Mm-hmm. And then we had our regular meeting. Before that, we also had a labor management meeting as well. And we approved the calendar for next year. We approved the acceptance of a Carl Perkins grant. We talked about the budget, which we'll be approving next time that we meet. And we talked about a child care program plan. And actually, we are recommending that we approve it. It's one that gives childcare to students who are attending classes at Southwest Metro. And I believe, oh, one more item. We, the board, and also our superintendents that are from the member districts will be having an upcoming board retreat on the 18th of April. And I think that takes care of it.
CPAC?
CPAC met in February on the 25th. A lot of time was spent on summer recreation and leisure activities for students with special needs. They talked about transition planning and procedures. They talked about spring special education staff appreciation, showing the appreciation to staff members for being so supportive of our special needs students. The next meeting that we will be having will be on the 14th of April. And I believe Mr. Dittbrenner will be there to talk about our upcoming I want to say vote, but it's not a vote. What's the proper terminology for
Referendum?
Referendum, thank you.
I didn't know that.
Oh, you didn't know it? Well,
No, I didn't. No, I didn't.
I'll put that on your calendar. That's the 14th.
Okay.
And
You
that
already
takes
have a
place in
presentation that day? Thank you. Community ed.
We meet a week from tomorrow. Spring is pretty well set. We'll have another meeting later on. And that'll be, of course, for summertime. And as always, anybody's welcome to come. And if you have some talents, certainly can share them with our community.
When do the summer schedules go out?
Summer schedule? It should be out middle of next month. And I'm sure that Mr. Dittberger will say something, but congratulations, at least on behalf of the board, to all the winter sports. Excellent job, well done. And now we're looking forward to the spring.
Once the snow melts.
And actually, all activities, Sherry and I were just talking about the outstanding performances or participation in the science fair, the other programs that have been this is not a good night.
One act play?
One act play, but
The spring play is this
Musical.
weekend.
The musical,
Oh.
musical.
Or spring play, you should
Spring
say,
play,
not
spring
musical.
Musical.
So, yeah, it's been a great winter for all the activities, besides the sports ones as well.
I was just gonna, I think the middle school has a musical though, right?
Yep.
Okay.
You're
so-
right.
yeah,
they do
that's
have
in
a
April.
musical.
Right, right,
Yep.
There's lots of things
Yeah.
to do in our district. All right. Any other community ed? Not, we'll go to
Good.
the update, superintendent update.
Yes, I just wanted to make mention of tomorrow night on Tuesday, March 24th. We have a Night to Know the Truth meeting. And what that is we've got young adults tell their stories of their addiction. Now, these are students from outside of our district, and it's sponsored by Jalissa Feldo's Family and Consumer Science class, along with Lisa Rudy Decker of the ALCs. So it'll be at the lecture hall at 7 o'clock, 7 to 8:30. And they were here, the organization that presented was here a couple months ago, and WCCO Channel 4 had it as a special. And it's a very powerful, some very powerful stories that can really make a positive influence to, for parents and also kids to hear. So that's tomorrow night on Tuesday. We also have our own meeting here, bond referendum meeting, open to the entire community. At 6:30, there'll be a tour of the CEC. Craig Most will be giving a tour to people that come at 6:30, and the meeting will start at 7 o'clock. Bond referendum meetings, I mentioned an email to our school board here. I've had 16 presentations in the first 3 weeks. I have 3 tomorrow, and I think 6 or 7 for the week. So busy getting the information out, and it's been going very well. What I'd like to do right now is just show you a short video of the bond referendum, and I think it's well done. And I urge people to look at our website to look at more in detail. But I think now would be a good time to show you, and then also our residents out there that maybe for cable access can watch this. Volume.
And our schools are a vital component of that.
It's a very good learning community.
Everyone wants good education for their children.
We have great teachers, we have great support staff, we have a very supportive community.
Hi, I'm Tim Dittberner, Superintendent of New Prague Area Schools. As we build on our proud tradition and promising future for our students, we have a school funding request on a May 5th election. We will ask voters a single question of whether to approve a $58.48 million bond referendum that addresses the facility needs of our district. Here are 4 things you need to know about the referendum.
We started a facilities task force last fall just to have them go over what the needs for the school district were.
I think every conversation we have really should be about kids. They have to be the focal point of what we're doing.
You're going to write what your goal is.
It was nice because it was driven by 34 different people from across the district.
The number one priority was getting the 6th through 8th grade in the middle school all together to improve safety and security.
If the environment is not safe, it doesn't set up a healthy academic environment for learning.
The 6th graders moved to the CEC as a short-term fix.
At least once a day, 300 plus 6th graders are walking across the street.
They have to go across there to eat lunch or to go to their classes.
It's affording more risk than needs to be had.
Getting your coats on, getting to your lockers.
Every minute of an academic day counts, and when you have to lose more minutes because you literally have to walk to another building to get to your classes, I think that's a disservice to those kids.
Right now, when you enter the middle school, you actually walk through the locker bank area to get to the office. With the new plan, we're actually going to have the office at the front of the building.
We haven't had a bond referendum in almost 10 years, and we do look very seriously on how we ask taxpayers for money.
The committee, the school board, and the district really feel it's very important to hold a referendum in May for a couple of reasons. Interest rates are at an historic low. The second reason is because of inflation. The longer we wait, the more we have to build in for inflation.
It will make our buildings more energy efficient, and in the long run, it'll cost us less.
The school district approached the city about sharing operating costs for the pool because that is one large expense after getting the pool built.
We're very conservative and trying to utilize our money as wisely as we can. And doing collaboration is just an ideal way for that to happen. The city basically approved sharing the operating cost on an annual basis with the school district.
Well, I think the pool is a wonderful thing, not only for the school children, but for the adults, the whole entire community.
It does have a zero depth entry, so it's good for very young and the very old.
This will be a great asset, and not just to swim team, but the educational needs of the middle school. It's part of their curriculum.
The remodeling of the CEC will also allow for more early childhood classroom. It'll also allow for more community classrooms.
Adding the pool and that stuff actually enhances not only the school's capabilities, but it actually enhances the city's capabilities. So when a young family wants to move in, they can look at it and say, hey, this is where I want to live.
We owe it to our kids, I think we owe it to our families to provide the best that we can.
So as you can see, members of our community led the process to create a proposal that is financially prudent, puts the safety and security of our students as a priority, and provides value to all members of our community, young and old. A single ballot question will be presented to voters on May 5th, asking for $58.48 million. The average homeowner would see a tax increase of about $8 per month. I invite you to learn more about our referendum question and to vote on May 5th. On behalf of our students and staff, I thank you. And I'd like to just add anyone that watches our meeting on either the computer or cable access that, if there's a group that they want me to present at, I'd be more than happy to come out and just call the district office and we'll set up a time to meet. On good news, I received a call today from a retired athletic director from up in the Metro, who I know quite well. And he just said, wow, what a run you guys have had. And just wanted to send his congratulations and talk about it. But not sure what I'm going to do at 12 o'clock this Wednesday. We've had 3 Wednesdays in a row, boys hockey, boys basketball, girls basketball, all at the state tournament. And like Denny said, it's not just the athletics, but the activities. We have a very strong overall activities program and athletic program. I always say it's the 3 A's, academics, activities, or the arts, and athletics. And it's great to see, and we've got a lot to be proud of. So I just want to mention that again.
Thank you.
I just wanted to say that is a very well done presentation too. We saw the first run of it, and it's really cleaned up beautifully and really presents the points in a very very systematic and clear way.
Yeah, I have to give credit. Tony Boothie is the one that coordinated the entire process, getting everything lined up. It took a lot of work, but again, it's we want to get the facts and the information out to people, and the use of the video's on the website if you want to see it again. And it's something in my presentations I start with before I go on to a PowerPoint. So, and we've had a lot of positive things. A lot of positive feedback on
Tony
the
did a good job of arranging the snow for the day they were here to videotape it, too.
Actually, it was worse earlier in the day. They should have got here a little bit earlier.
Since we're handing out kudos, I did see one other video with Charlie Kyer in it, and I was amazed. That was one of the best ones I have seen in a long time.
Yeah, what Don's talking about is Soup Talk, which
we play that.
Yeah, episode, I believe at number 8. Episode 8, that's in the archives. You can look at that. And we have a lot of people that it's been very well received, the Soup Talk. It's good to get again, another way to communicate and meet people, put a name to the face there. So.
All right, thanks for the update. Let's move on to our action and discussion items. First item is the middle school Washington, D.C. trip.
Yep, we got Jeremy Kalla will present. We talked about it in our last work session, and there's some follow-up work to do, and he'll give us an overview of this again and see if you have any questions.
Yep. What we're presenting, as Mr. Dittmer talked about from the work session, is a 4-night, 5-day trip with middle school students. Would be taken after their 7th and 8th grade year. Not missing any school was one of the goals that we set forward for this. So it would be the week or within the 2 weeks after school gets out when we'd be looking to take the trip. On the packets you have in front of you, there is one typo that Sherry noticed. The cost on yours, I believe it says $1,400 even. That's if we fill our trip completely. The cost per student goes down. So the one you got originally at the work session was listed at $1,650. I sent the wrong file over to Janelle when I sent it to her. So that's the only correction that we know of for sure there. But as far as from the work session, looking into, when we presented it to you guys, you kind of had a couple of questions and some things to look at. You should also see included in there the insurance for each part of the trip. I know the motor coach insurance is in there, along with the travel companies as well. The security company that they go through that would provide the private security on the bus and at the hotel at night, and then also a fundraising plan that we've put together. There's a couple of things that are still up in the air there, working with the Scott County Fair possibly. That's still in the works. Don't know 100% sure if that's doable or not. The fundraising of selling the water softener salt. The senior send-off does that. We've talked with them. They are more than willing to have us do that in opposite seasons. So we'll go ahead and do that as well if it's approved. And then also the Coburn's car washes and Pizza Ranch tip nights. So if there's any other questions, I can do my best to answer them for you.
I just wanted to say thank you for looking into the fundraising.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
You know, for the people who wouldn't have seen the presentation at the work session, could you just give a minute or two discussion of what it is?
Yep. The itinerary would be flying into from Minneapolis to Philadelphia. There seeing Philadelphia Museum of Arts, Liberty Bell, along with a couple other stops, and then taking one night in Philadelphia, going through Baltimore on our way down to Washington, D.C., spend one full day in Baltimore, stopping by Fort McHenry, a couple other stops in Baltimore as well, and then down to Washington, D.C. for 3 days and 3 nights there. Seeing all the different attractions there, the monuments, Arlington National Cemetery, the Smithsonian Museums, Supreme Court, Capitol Building, National Archives, a lot of them that go along with their social studies curriculum in the middle school. Other than that, everything in the trip is included as far as transportation with bus, guided tours, admissions, all lodging, all meals as well are included there.
And you're looking at doing this the summer of 2016 for...
Correct, yep.
That would be people going into 7th and 8th grade or finishing
This year's
7th and 8th?
current 6th graders and current 7th graders would be the ones going on the trip next summer after they complete their 7th and 8th grade.
And
year in
you'll be
middle school.
looking to sign up in the fall?
Right, we'd actually would be, you know, if we're granted approval on it, we would be going out to the students to try to start kind of promoting it, getting them the information yet this spring. Our goal would be to have a parent meeting actually yet this spring before school's out, so that they can hit fundraising yet this summer. And if parents are, and kids are wanting to do that, they have time to start with their payments and saving money for it.
In the future, do you see this as being an every other year activity, or would you do it every year if we?
I don't know the answer to that question. I think we're kind of on the wait and see. If there's enough interest and kids would want to do it every year, we'd be more than happy to plan it every year. If there's not, we would go the every other year route. But I think minimum every other year, and if more people want to, we'd be all for it every year.
I think it's a great opportunity to provide to the students and see if what the interest is. I think it's a good educational experience, even though it's after school is out.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's what I like best about it. But no, I think it's great, Jeremy and of course Jeremy Biermeyer for spearheading this and bringing this back in the fold here and giving an opportunity for kids to do it, because I think it is a great learning experience. And like Jeremy said, it does tie right into our Minnesota standards for history.
And thank you for doing all the legwork and research on it.
Mm-hmm,
I know
absolutely.
I could tell you prepared very well for it. Thank you.
I'll make a motion to approve the trip.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Next, we have a resolution approving the election judges.
At this time, I'll entertain a motion to approve the election judges for the May 5th, 2015 school district special election.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to consider the following resolution. Be it resolved by the School Board of Independent School District 721, State of Minnesota, as follows. The individual specified on Exhibit A, and Exhibit A lists all of the election judges that have been hired and attached to Exhibit A, each of whom is a qualified person to serve as an election judge, are hereby appointed as judges of election for the school district special election on May 5th, 2015, to act as such at the polling places and combined polling places listed on said exhibit. The election judges shall act as clerks of election, count the ballots cast, and submit the results to the school board for canvass in the manner provided for other school district elections. How do you vote on this, Don?
Yes.
Jean?
Yes.
Kitten?
Yes.
Sherry?
Yes.
Dennis, yes. Item passes.
Finally, we have approval of additional middle school positions.
Yes, these positions are based on our increase in enrollment in high class sizes at the middle school level. Band and choir, I think all of our classes are over 100 students right now. So one position is half-time band and the other one half-time choir. We also have 2 classroom teaching positions in the 6th grade, along with the counselor. The recommendation by the National Association of Counseling is a 500 to 1 ratio at the middle school. As you know, we're about 900 middle school students right now. So that definitely is a need that we feel needs to be addressed. I do want to mention that this counseling position is similar to the one that we added at the high school last year. It'll take the place. We're not increasing the budget or adding a staffing position. We're simply reprioritizing. It's going to take replace our literacy coach position that we've had. And we feel we're at a point, we were this year at middle school, which we cut from, and the elementary next year, is that we have enough experts on staff that we can do professional development workshops and in-services within, rather than hiring a salaried position. So those two counseling positions, last year's high school, this year's middle school, simply replace literacy coach positions. As far as class size, I do want to mention, we received a report last week from Metro EXU. That's an organization that we belong to, of all metropolitan school districts. And probably in October, November, we had to send what our class sizes were in at all the different levels. The report just came out. We have, out of 36 school districts, we have the fourth lowest class size for elementary students, which is excellent. So it's the fourth best class size in all of the metro area. But I will say middle school, we rank 32nd out of 36. So that's why we're addressing this for next year with staffing, to increase 2 classroom positions along with the band and choir. And we feel obviously it's a need. If you remember last year, we addressed the high school. And it's basically, high schools will go up just slightly in staffing, but we're able to keep our class sizes at a pretty good number. We're about right in the middle of the pack for high school of those 36 school districts. But good news on elementary, and I just think we need to address middle school right now and get our class sizes a little bit lower.
You have room for an additional choir and band?
Yes, we do. We're going to use the auditorium, I believe, in each of the rooms. Okay, and use the CSC. And then, yeah, that's basically it for band and choir. And then for the 6th grade, we do have classroom space too. And we'll probably rearrange some classrooms with early childhood to make it work.
I'll make a motion to approve the additional staffing for the middle school.
Second. Any further discussion?
I was just going to say, good job on those 5th grade teachers, music teachers, promoting that. I know they do a good job promoting, because they have choir in 5th grade. They started that a couple years ago, and I think that's excellent that they started doing that.
Yeah, our numbers are very.
And band,
very
I know
high.
they had, but they really have it earlier now in the 5th grade. So I've seen that in the last couple years.
Anything else? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Put a motion to adjourn so we can go enjoy the snow.
So move.
Guys, for lack of second.
Can I second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0.